What's up, everyone? Thank you for checking out and supporting this episode of Raised a Geek. This week, we talk about the WWE Elimination Chamber, now streaming on Peacock and was live last night. Are we finally on the road to WrestleMania, or are we still broken down on the side of the road? Let's find out. I'm Chris, and this week I'm here with my buddy Don. How we doing, man?
Chris, what is up today, my friend? Sometimes I say, and what's up, Tony, my other friend, but he's not here this week. He's in Wisconsin, and we're talking wrestling, and that is Tony repellent.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway,
Right now, he's listening to us going, "You're goddamn right."
we kind of had some other plans that we could have gone to too for a topic this week, but Elimination Chamber happened and some interesting developments there. So we're like, you know what? We're gonna break our rule of only doing the big four. Let's get another one in here when some craziness happens. But yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Hanging in there, man. Hanging in
Yeah.
there. Feels like
Yeah.
everything's busy, but doing good. Weather's starting to turn, so I'm wanting to be outside more, which is nice. It's 80
Yeah.
degrees today.
Oh, that's pretty nice. That's
80
summertime.
degrees, feels nice. The sun's out. I'm just like, all right, getting ready to, let's go for some runs and go jump in the pool.
Yeah, yesterday I had like 10 errands to do, it felt like, and I was out doing stuff and it was just like in my car, drive somewhere, out of the car, do what I got to do, get in the car. Oh yeah, I got to go here, so I go over here, and I made this like little thing, and I was like, eventually it was too much, like comic book store, blah blah blah, this and that, get some food, go to the grocery store, and it was like too much. And then today I've done absolutely nothing. I haven't opened the door to leave my
Nice.
house yet. So it's like
Yeah.
took care of everything I had to do the laundry. But yeah, today's just
Yeah.
been a day with a nap.
Yeah. Errands are exhausting. I did that yesterday. I was like, all right, I drove to Walmart. I was looking for a tool. I didn't have the tool. Then I walked over to the electronics department and I just stared at Monster Hunter Wilds for like 5 minutes, just like, am I going to buy this right now? And I ran away. I physically ran away from the store. And then I had comic book store. You made me want to go check on my pull after you showed me your monstrous one. I was like, all right, let's see how bad mine is.
Yeah, it's pretty thick.
Have you been rebuying? They keep wanting me. I guess they're re-releasing the original Hush run, and
Mm.
I guess they just started the Long Halloween, like doing those single issues. Have you been buying those?
I know the Long Halloween one is an original news story.
I'm getting that one, the last
Yeah,
Halloween, but I
right.
just saw when I went to my pull this time, they were basically giving a reprint of issue one when it originally. So it was like Batman 697,
Mm.
and it was like the first chapter of the Long Halloween, and on the front it was like a brand new story, and it had that same art. Like it was just, they've been like re-releasing the. I got Batman Year One. They
Okay.
re-release it that way, and usually they're cool because they have like the ads in them from whenever it. So like Batman Year One has like all the 80s or
Back
90s.
back when comic books had ads in the
Yeah, when they had
in the
the ads in
pages.
there and like the fill out this form for a subscription and blah blah blah, and
Uh,
like even it says like 1984 copyright, so.
yeah.
And then they started doing Hush, and then they apparently started doing the Long Halloween as well. And I'm assuming you haven't been picking those up then.
No, I didn't notice that. My comic book, my guys at my shop haven't been trying to sneak
Oh,
those into my pull
they,
list. They
they were,
they're usually pretty good, my guys, without not sneaking stuff in on me.
yeah, they mine tried to sneak all of that in on me, and I was like, yeah, I don't need these. And I was like, and to make me feel old, I remember buying these. I bought these already once.
Yeah, like I bought Hush when it came out, and they're like, "Whoa."
Yeah, I told that to that one dude, and he was like, he just looked at me. I said, well, I already bought that the first time it came out, and he looked at me and he goes, "That was a good flex, man. That was a good flex." I'm like, yeah, flexing that I'm old as
Right.
shit, and was able to buy Hush the first time. But Hush 2, it just came out. I think I got the first issue of that, so
Yeah, I think
that's
it
exciting.
did just start. Pretty cool that they got Jim Lee and Jeff Loeb to come back to do it.
Hmm.
Uh, I think there's like Batman's not. Maybe it is starting over. They're getting a new number one soon
Oh, are they?
with Matt Fraction, who
Okay.
like
The
wrote
Daredevil
Hawkeye.
and yeah, Hawkeye.
Uh, yeah, Fraction's doing that. I think Chip Zdarsky's going on to do Captain America. Like he's starting a
Mm.
Captain America at number one. So a couple changes are happening. But yeah, that was one of the errands.
Yeah.
Clean up my thick list.
I know. I just threw it on the pile of all the other ones, and I'm like, I gotta figure this out at some point, but
Yeah, yeah.
not today, because you know what, Don? We watched Elimination Chamber 2025, and I said it in the beginning. And Don, how did you feel up until this show about the road to WrestleMania?
Yeah, not great. Um, so the road to WrestleMania traditionally begins at the Royal Rumble,
Hmm.
which was, I don't know, about a month ago.
Almost to
Give
the
or take.
day. I think it was February 1st.
Yeah, so give or take a month ago. Um, and I don't know, man. Just usually those results of those matches kind of set off this chain reaction of excitement for the next 2 months leading to WrestleMania. You finally know who your challengers are, what your title fights are going to be at Mania itself. And so coming out of Royal Rumble, I kind of didn't feel great. Like
Hmm.
we had a WrestleMania show or a Royal Rumble show on here when after it came out. So obviously the first thing we talked about was Jey Uso winning that, and uh, I mean at the time you and I were both like, "Oh, Jey deserves it. He's good. Like this is cool." Blah blah blah. But the more and more I thought about it, and what I've seen them do with that since then, has not been very motivating to me, exciting to me. Obviously he picked Gunther, so you have that match set. But just like what they're doing with it, there's nothing new or innovative about it.
Right.
I still don't feel like Jey can wrestle. I still feel
Yeah.
like he's the choice because
Of his entrance.
of his entrance, the reaction he gets from the crowd. Kids love him. People like doing the yeet. They like his theme song. He's got a lot of energy, but in the ring, he's just kind of bland.
Hmm.
Uh, 4 or 5 move set. Not a guy who you really think is going to put on a great show at the biggest wrestling show of the year.
Right.
Um, So that along with Charlotte and just kind of been in the background, her picking Tiffany Stratton, okay, cool, whatever. But it's like everything's kind of felt blah. And I don't know if that's just because last year's was so exciting, you know, and even in previous years I felt more excited, but I've been kind of like, ugh, okay, we're gonna have Mania. I'm sure they'll have some fine matches, but I'm just like, all right. I just haven't been excited this year for that reason. Um, what about you? Same, I'm
Same.
assuming
Yeah,
similar.
same. It's been hard. Like I said, I never I might have like kind of thought that Jey Uso had a chance of winning the Royal Rumble, but I didn't personally want to see him win. I don't watch Jey Uso. Like he comes out, his entrance is too long. I don't have the attention span to watch them yeet. I
And
don't like
start
that
his
he
music
says
over.
the what?
And then now they've
Oh,
been like starting his music over, which makes it even longer.
yeah. His entrance is too long for me. Like my
Yeah.
ADHD kicks in and I'm just like, nope, nope, nope. He talks in fragments because he's got to keep saying yeet, yeet. It's just annoying. So I haven't watched a Jey Uso like actual segment in forever. Like I'll watch a couple of his matches when he has, Saturday Night Main Event against Gunther. We watched that match. I watched that one. Like I'll watch his big matches and see what happens, but I'm never they don't do anything for me ultimately. So I mean, I was never a fan of that win. So I
Yeah.
mean, and even with Charlotte, I'm like, that doesn't do anything for me either. So I've kind of just been sitting there waiting for, I guess, the Elimination Chamber to see what the other match, like who's going to fight Cody, and see if that gives me anything. And
We basically wanted to know who's fighting Cody and who's fighting Rhea. Like fill out the rest of your title picture.
yeah, and those were the ones that I've like, okay, if these got some mustard to them, then
Yeah.
maybe. Now I will say I was a punk. Obviously, if you haven't watched Elimination Chamber yet, it's already been spoiled for you probably in the title of this episode or whatever. So spoilers from here. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. But I'm sure
Well,
you've already got it spoiled. I mean, ESPN's been talking about shit.
well, I was gonna say we're not the ones who spoiled it for you. It was all over the like mainstream media,
Yes.
even.
Yes.
So
Other people saw it, and yeah, I
yeah.
think everybody saw things by now. But I was going for CM Punk to win. I wanted to see Punk and Cody, which clearly isn't what we're getting.
Hmm.
And the first thing we really need to talk about with this show, and it's probably what the main reason anybody would listen to us about talk about
Yeah.
wrestling, would be that John Cena
Hmm.
is a bad guy.
All right. Not only did he win, which was its own kind
Yeah,
of
he
mini
won on its
shock.
own, and I was immediately like, ugh, I don't want to see. I don't like. I'm like, my two main events at WrestleMania are going to be Jey Uso and Gunther and Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Even still, I'm still not the most excited about that.
Hmm.
This adds
But
a little bit of a spice to it, but I'm still
yeah,
not excited about it.
yeah, because you would think the shock might be Cena winning, One, because he's been out of action for so long. He's a part-time guy. This is his farewell tour. We thought maybe they'd want to give him some kind of title run here during his last 10 months of wrestling, but we didn't really know how they were going to do it. But then, like, oh, I guess they're going to maybe do it at Mania because he just won the Elimination Chamber. So he did win the Elimination Chamber, but then on top of that, like you just said, the main thing that people are focused on, and rightly so, is that um, after 22 years of
Hmm.
being a clean baby face that is like kissing babies and going to make a
Hmm.
wish kids and never being negative and hearing people boo him in the background but never reacting to it, always being like this super straight
Hey
baby.
guys, I'm glad you voice your opinion. It's loud and proud. I love it.
Yeah, for the past 22 literal 22 years, um has gone heel, and that's just an
Yeah,
event that doesn't happen, you
no,
know.
no, and it was weird as hell because like when he was like robot face,
Hmm.
it almost looked comical. Like I was like, does he know what to do with his face?
Right,
Like he just
right.
he just went into Terminator mode.
Yeah. He was all of
Must
a sudden,
destroy. Rock told me to destroy.
yeah, he's all of a sudden a robot. um Listen, I think it's good for business. Um, you're gonna break some kids' hearts. You're gonna disappoint some fans who like really subscribe to the face heel stuff. Like they really like love their face people and can't imagine them being anything else. But to like someone like us who've been watching this for a long time and we're in our 40s, it's just like this is the best thing that I think could happen
Right.
for him, for
For us.
Mania, for him, for us, and for WrestleMania, to at least give it some juice. You know what I mean? Like if
Hmm.
we would have just went into WrestleMania being like two people you love are gonna fight on Sunday night in the last match. Cody Rhodes, your hero, and John Cena, your other hero, and like it's gonna be fun, guys. Who's gonna be the best good guy? Like, no, dude, I don't want just that. And now what we kind of have sitting in front of us has so many ways they can go with it, and like the weeks leading up to it should be really fun. So I'm very happy that they had the guts and like the because this takes guts to do. It really does. Like
Yeah.
you're saying not goodbye. They probably will still sell the stuff, but like all his merch, all his face merch that is out there, and all his farewell tour stuff, and the shirts they just gave away at Royal Rumble of him smiling and saluting. It's like you can't really sell that stuff anymore. You got to come up with some different kind of looking stuff.
No, I'm not up on the merch, so I don't fully know what's out there. But my other thought process too that I think this ties back into last year because last year
Hmm.
The Rock was clearly going to fight Roman Reigns. Crowds revolted.
Hmm.
Cody ended up getting that spot, and Rock kind of leaned into it and decided to go heel, which at that time as well was like Rock
Yeah.
going heel seemed like it would never happen. So the fact that we got Final Boss Rock, Hollywood Rock, like got that again. So I would imagine that Rock's merch probably still sells.
Oh, yeah.
And how many like they can still put up like John Cena's farewell tour merch and kids and people will still buy it. But now they're going to put up Cena heel merch and we're going to buy it.
Right.
So I feel like they probably did that with The Rock and
Hmm.
they were just like, we made more money by turning The Rock into the final boss than if we would have left him went with our plans. And I feel like that was their like proof to say this is worth doing. Like I feel
Yeah.
like they had some analytical data in there to
Yeah.
know, hey, we're not going to really be hurting that bad if we do this.
No, I'm sure they'll be 100% fine, and they make money hand over fist, so they probably don't even care about the merch that John Cena is going to sell.
Yeah.
But and I understand the like connection you're drawing between this year and last year because it was a big deal when Rock became the final boss because he wasn't that anymore. But the difference is Rock has been heel. So
Yeah.
people are like,
True.
heel Rock is back.
Yeah.
Awesome. John Cena hasn't been heel, like I said,
Never.
since 2003. And that
Yeah.
was like he wasn't even a top level guy yet. He was still just like, Thugonomics
Yeah. I
dude.
might get fired any day now, John Cena.
Right. So that's the crazy difference. And Rock going heel was kind of forced on them by the crowd reaction. This was a choice.
Yeah.
This was like a choice they made who knows how long ago. It has to have been in the works for a while. I would think you don't just do this willy nilly. But
I think no, I think they've known because at the press conference after the Royal Rumble, John Cena kind of gave a promo that was a lot different than a normal John Cena promo, where he seemed a lot more desperate.
yeah,
He put himself in. He was the only person who just said, "I'm going to," like declared for the elimination. Everyone else had to qualify. John
right.
Cena declared, and of course, at the time they were like, "Well, he's John Cena," but it feels like if you tie it back to like The Rock being the boss,
hmm
and
I'm
he
sure
and
I'm sure they'll touch on
yeah,
that probably.
and he dropped the best for business line, like I want to do whatever's best for business, which was always a heel thing that Triple H said when he was part of the corporation and stuff. So I feel like he dropped some things that were always kind of out of character, and now you can kind of almost link back and go. So feel like they've known since at least a Royal Rumble that this was the plan, and I wouldn't be surprised if they said, "Hey, this is your year." Like if this is going to be your last year, then the whole thing should be mapped out. If they don't have the John Cena retirement tour mapped out, then what are we doing here?
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Because there's going to be a redemption there too. So
Yeah, there have been there have been clues that Royal Rumble presser
mhm.
was the start of it. Him just getting gifted a entrance into the Elimination Chamber should have been kind of,
Yeah,
if we would have thought about it more critically, we could have been like, but why? Why does he not have to have a qualifying match? I know he's making a movie, but everyone else has to have a qualifying match.
right.
We've also had baby faces like talking shit about him for the past month, like
Yeah,
CM Punk being like, "Ooh, this guy just gets to walk in for free," or John Cena's not even here on his retirement tour. He really likes you guys. Like babyface is going after him, so it's just like
it's true.
you know, uh, there were clues, but still, I mean,
Did
shocking.
did you see this coming? At what point? At what point did you know? Oh my God, Cena's going to turn because the match ended, and I like I said we'll probably talk. We could dive more into the Cody thing, unless you just want to go into the Cody side of it as well, and like
Sure,
let's just
it's
knock
all
this portion
yeah,
out.
it's all connected. Might
But
as
the
well.
but the match ended. The men's chamber ended. Cena won. Cody comes out. Now we had this story of The Rock, who is basically wants Cody's soul
hmm
and wants a whole lot more. I don't know. They're very awkward segments of like The Rock just massaging Cody's face and talking, whispering sweet nothings into his ear.
Gifting
But
him cars.
on this show, we was supposed to be Cody, you selling your soul to The Rock, which never seemed like a viable question because The Rock never really explained why Cody would what would he would benefit from. So that whole thing never made sense. But anyway, we knew Cody was going to say no, and he did. But he also told The Rock to go fuck himself. And they did not bleep that shit out. And that was wild. And
No.
I feel like that got completely overshadowed.
Right. If Cody would have never turned, that would have been the story the next day. I mean, if Cena never
Yeah.
turned, that would have been the story the next day. Like Cody told him straight up to go fuck himself in his face.
And I even went back and rewatched. They have this entire segment on YouTube on WWE's official YouTube channel has from basically the end of the chamber with Cody Rhodes coming out all the way through to the end of the show. It's like a 20-minute segment. And I watched it again to watch that moment again. And they didn't even bleep it out on the YouTube replay.
Yeah.
Like it's there. That's a moment that they're just like, this is canon.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, we're leaning into it.
we're leaning into this shit. And I was
Yeah.
like, that was wild to me. Like that, he said it, and I was like, what the hell is happening? Like it's just so
Yeah.
it's so unexpected.
How many little kids out there like, "Mommy, what's fuck?" Like,
Yeah, all the letters.
oh my god.
Kids know. Kids
Yeah.
kids are dropping that at 5 now.
Right.
They're
Right.
fine. They're fine. Little language ain't gonna hurt them.
My
But that was wild. Like that was awesome. And it's a shame that that moment that Cody
Mhm.
had there is gonna get overshadowed with everything else.
Yeah. No, but to answer your
Yeah,
question, when did I know it was going to happen?
because John Cena
Um,
was running around in the background reacting to everything that was happening.
yeah, clapping his hands seemed very on Cody's side. Like, um,
He was being very John Cena overacting. Travis
being very
Scott's in the corner
yes.
burning sage. I could have swore it was weed, is what I thought he was
No, yeah,
doing.
he was
But
he was smoking weed over there. He was smoking a blunt.
they just kept saying he's just lighting sage.
No. And another thing, let's just stop having that guy on stuff. Like he walked out with Jey Uso on Netflix smoking a blunt, and then you got him in WrestleMania. Like he's gonna forever be infamously tied with this moment that he should have never been in. Like I don't know what their obsession with having him in things just because he says he wants to because he has some popular rap songs. It's like, can we
It's
stop? I don't want my memory of this moment, which is gonna go down in history as
yeah,
like a moment that you talk about forever. And like fucking Travis Scott's in the corner for some reason, really hitting Cody Rhodes because he doesn't know what he's doing, like really hitting him hard in the face.
yeah,
Like, come on. Anyway, that aside,
yeah,
um, I initially thought as soon as the chamber ended and Rock and Cody was the first one to come out, right?
yeah.
To kind of talk to Cena, go acknowledge him, say like, "Hey, WrestleMania is set. It's me and you." I don't know. I kind of felt this vibe that okay, we're going right into the Cody Rock segment now. Um, I still thought that Cody would. There was a chance he could accept that he would sell his soul, and then WrestleMania is going to be heel Cody versus face Cena.
Hmm.
Because I knew they had to do something. I knew it couldn't just be super babyface Cody versus
Yeah.
super babyface Cena. There's
One of
no
them
way.
had to shift.
They had to because now you're just risking the crowd booing one or the other either way. So it's like one of them has to. We have to give them a reason to boo one of these guys.
Yeah.
So part of me thought that it was going to still be Cody, and that would have been just as shocking, I think, to people. It wouldn't have gained as much attention worldwide and like mainstream. Like you wouldn't see on ESPN, Cody Rhodes goes heel. You know what I mean? But if John Cena does it, that's
Well, and
earth shattering.
to your point, that's the thought that you had. Like Cody
Mhm.
Rhodes is today's equivalent of John Cena. Like he's doing
Mhm.
all of the Make a Wish stuff. He's doing all of those things, and you're like, you know what? I can see Cody Rhodes going heel before I even think John Cena would do it.
Right. And I don't know. In hindsight, I'm looking at it now. Like I should have thought more that John Cena could do this because Cody, I know they at some point he probably will. Everybody does, but I just don't think they're ready for that yet. He's still like the
Yeah.
guy they want people, they want everyone cheering for. They want you to love,
Yeah.
they want you to love Cody Rhodes and stack the odds against him again, like they did last year and the year before. He's like the guy. So I didn't truly know that it was going to be Cena until Cody said go fuck yourself, and then I was like, oh, now it just had it has to be done because we had conversations before. Like, if Cody says no, whoever his opponent is, that's who's selling their soul. Whether it be Punk, whether it be Drew McIntyre, whoever you want to say, whoever wins this chamber
Mhm.
is going to be Rock's champion if it's not Cody. So at that point, I was like, and then they're standing around the ring for a little too long, a little too awkward. I don't think they really knew when to exactly kick it off, how much to let it breathe. Like you could, if you're watching and you can see The Rock like take a step back to kind of give them a little room, you know.
Yeah.
And John Cena kind of didn't know what to do for a second. He's just kind of like shaking his head and like, "Whoa," and like for a little while, there was like a good 15 seconds in there where there was a little bit of awkwardness because I don't think they know when exactly to do it.
Hmm.
And Cody looked over to Cena and was like saying something to him, and then that's when the hug happened, and that's where everything kind of kicked off. But yeah, it was hard. It was hard to say. Uh,
I was waiting for someone else to come out. I just did not believe Cena taking the deal or selling his soul to The Rock makes sense. It's the most interesting avenue they could have picked out of this storyline. Like this is just the most intriguing. Never thought they would actually have the guts to do it.
mhm.
So I just up until really John Cena's face dropped when he hugged Cody and then he
Yeah,
turned into Terminator, then I was like,
classic.
what is happening right now? And I'm so glad this didn't get spoiled for me.
And just the idea of him and Rock being aligned, I don't think they've ever done. They've never. They may have worked together in the past, but it's always been opposing each other. But like having them kind of on the same side, like the potential
Well,
here.
and that's where I kind of almost dig the Travis Scott of it because that's kind of like the Hollywood crew. So
Yeah.
like they would have an entourage. They would have random celebrities hanging out with them. They would have some of that. So like if they have random celebrities kind of in these moments when they're doing stuff, that's kind of cool.
Hmm.
Like yeah, it's kind of weird, bringing, I mean, and Triple H and Endeavor, since they've done this merger, has been like over the top with these like streamers and all this stuff that I'm makes me feel old.
Yeah.
Like I show speed. I'm like, I don't care about I show speed. But then like we talked to our buddy and he's like, my son freaked out. So
Yeah.
kids
There's
care, and that's what it's about. So they make more money off kids than they make off me. So
no, it's true. But yeah, so yeah, I can see that. The Travis Scott thing might be a one-off, but who knows? They might put in some other people and have them join. But like having them both be Hollywood guys, you know what I
just
mean? Who,
even the two of them, yeah.
yeah, who've both made it in Hollywood. They're like the two probably most successful wrestlers turned actors. And now you have them both together, like aligned as a heel faction. It's just like that's cool.
Yeah.
Like never thought.
Never thought. And I mentioned in that chat, I kind of want Dave Bautista to show back up. Like, let's bring back Batista for a couple of weeks. Like,
Throw him in there.
throw
Right.
him in there as like their bodyguard. Like, this is like a thing that if they would allow it with their schedules for the three of them to be
Mhm.
like this crazy dominant heel Hollywood faction, that'd be pretty dope.
Right. And all guys who are like super successful wrestlers of the past.
Uh huh.
I
Just
know a
let them
lot of
run
people.
roughshod for a year. That'd be dope.
I know you got a lot of people who will sit here and say like, "Oh, this is just WWE doing the thing they do, like putting the vets in over the new guys." But it's like, no, what John Cena said is right. Like, this is best for business. We're not sitting here talking about the Elimination Chamber if Drew McIntyre won last night.
Honestly, even if CM Punk won last night,
Yeah.
and they did this segment in the middle of the show that we thought like it looked like it was going to be, where it was just going to be Cody and Rock in the middle of the show, and Seth Rollins came out and he's just like, hey, I'm the
Mhm.
corporate champ. We would be
Right.
talking about the gorge right now.
Right. Which was the original plan.
Yeah, we wouldn't be.
Uh,
So watch the gorge. We're probably going to talk about it next week. Daredevil comes out. I think the gorge just got fucked.
Gorge might have got pushed.
Yeah, yeah, it sounds about right. Let us know what you thought about the gorge. Email us at raisethegeek.com. raisethegeek at gmail.com. But yeah, I never thought they would actually have the nerve to do it. This is, like you said, it is best for business, 100%. I'm intrigued of where this goes. Still not necessarily excited that this is the night two main event,
Hmm.
but I'm
I think
curious. I'm more curious in the next like 6 weeks of TV. I
put your
might keep
yeah,
Netflix.
yeah, there you go. Because Cena's got a lot of dates still to fill. I think he'll be around more. I
I
mean,
hope so. That's
he
been
had
the
he had
bummer.
the movie, which they kind of just threw in there at the end, like, oh, I'm starting this farewell tour, but I have a movie to film first, so you guys won't see me for a while.
I thought I could have swore like he cleared his whole schedule for the year so he could be available. So then
I
it's
thought
like
so too.
all
Yeah,
of a sudden
I
I
thought
got
so
this movie
too.
in Budapest. I'm like, come on, man, no one's gonna watch that movie. Just come back here.
All right, this is where you're needed.
This is where
Uh,
you're needed, and
yeah,
you could make a difference here. No one's gonna watch whatever random movie with Jackie Chan you're making in Budapest.
yeah. I know to like finish up this opening segment
Yeah,
before we talk about some other things, but um, put your prediction hat on just briefly. Do you think he wins Mania?
I do at this with. I would originally say no. I feel like John Cena was gonna go and lose to Cody Rhodes. And I didn't think if they were going to put when they were going to put the title on him, it wasn't going to be till SummerSlam. He was going to have to like have that growth. Like he's been on a losing streak for like 3 years. He's just been putting people over for 3 years, and he hasn't like won a match, hasn't earned anything. So I was like, I could see him winning the chamber, fighting Cody, losing, and then having to really like dig himself back up, win Money in the Bank, and then cash in at SummerSlam. Like I felt like there would be a more of like a redemption for him, but because they skipped kind of that and he decided to almost take a shortcut, I feel like now he kind of has to win it to then have his downfall. Like if he loses, then what do you do with him? Like I
Yeah,
feel like he has to win now.
you got to capitalize on the momentum. I think. I kind of think you have to.
This is a different story. The expectation of story that I had for John Cena, because we expected him to be the good guy for the year. This is his last tour. He's going to do the nostalgia thing. He's going to go to every town, say, "This is the last time I'm here. Hi, bye," and sell a bunch of merch and do his 5 moves of doom and make everybody happy. And at some point, probably SummerSlam or somewhere in there, he would rack up some wins and then win the big one at SummerSlam, and then you
which
know
we all thought then would be like beating Gunther or somebody,
yeah,
like
yeah,
beat the
like not
heel.
even the WWE Championship. It would be like the World Heavyweight Champ.
Hmm. Yeah,
But now I don't know. I feel like he's got to win. I feel like he's got to win.
I think he does too because we got a month, and we can't just have had that moment and then you have Cody Rhodes overcome. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And Cody's had his year. He had his year, man. Like he's been champion now for a full year. I
Yep.
think you've got this reaction out of mainstream media now and your whole crowd, and it's like, all right, the winds are changing. I think we're gonna probably see it. The question is, how long does he keep it, and how long does he remain heel? Is he gonna be heel this entire 10 months, or like at some point does somebody save his soul? Like he has a fight with Punk, and it's like the for John Cena's soul, I save him from The Rock, and the last good thing that John Cena does is do the ST or the FU to STFU or whatever to The Rock or something, and he finally has his soul back, and he's a good guy again. Like I don't think you end him as this heel,
We're
but
gonna
I
do the
think
summer of heel punk or heel
heel
Cena.
Cena.
And by
Yeah,
SummerSlam, somewhere in there, it'll be this big battle, and then they can do the couple last big matches at the end of the year.
yeah, because I think he's going until December or something. So like his last stuff will be around Survivor Series, maybe a couple things. I think they said like the last pay-per-view he's ever gonna do, PLE, they're making one like named after him. That'll be like his last match or something.
That's what I was gonna say. They totally need to basically do a special that's like John Cena's last match and put it on Netflix and have it like be a thing. Like, hey, he's gonna
I
fight
I
Randy Orton last match.
I think I saw they are like they're gonna name it like Ruthless Aggression or something, and it's
Okay.
gonna be its own brand new PLE, like celebrating him for his last thing. So
It's
I
wild.
don't
I'm
know.
not on social media and I know nothing about this world anymore. I don't know what's happening. People have information. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out if I can continue functioning this way or not. Um,
Yeah.
just random. I didn't heard any of that, but that's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't think he'll be healed the entire time, but it's
You do
just
it
gonna
for
be.
the summer. It makes for a fun summer. You go Mania to SummerSlam with him as the heel champ and something we've never seen before. And as
Mhm.
long as he can put the dates in during that time to make it worth it, and he's not like Brock Lesnar who's just gone for 3 months as the champ, then
Yeah.
I think that'd be solid. So I'm excited for it. Road to WrestleMania is here, and now we're in gear and we're really going, which is super good. But not just this moment, but this was a good show.
Hmm.
All in all, man. I mean, we started with the women's elimination chamber match. And I
Yes.
will say before we talk about even how that match started, because that match started kind of out of control, this was a hell of a good. Those women beat the shit out of each other. Like
They
everything was
did.
solid. Like we were here talking about the War Games match with the women and the botch after botch after botch, and
Yeah.
not swinging chairs and like we talked about the sloppiness. And granted, I'm saying that, but I still enjoyed that women's War Games match too. So
Hmm.
yes, it was sloppy, but I still had fun watching it. This one, I thought the women just knocked it out of the park to open this show.
Oh, I agree. I think I say this every time we talk about a thing and there's a really good women's segment match or whatever. Like
Mm-hmm.
these women put in work now,
Yeah,
like a lot of them. And you know why this match wasn't as sloppy as the Survivor Series match? Because Nia Jax wasn't in it. But all the women in this match, like you
they could
said,
go.
they can go. Shout out for me to fucking Liv Morgan. I don't
I don't know where
say
she came
say
from.
say what you want about people talked shit about her for years that she wasn't good. She couldn't do much. She's just like a smaller woman than the other women, so she can't really be effective and she doesn't do much. She puts in work, man. I don't care. Like I kind of wanted her to win at some points. Like people are tired of a Liv Rhea fight, but I want Liv is a good champion and she like deserves everything that she's
I
getting.
100% like I somewhere the year of Live in 2024 that run, and then even since she won like recently, I think I remember sending you a text like during the Rumble or something where I was just like, Liv Morgan is like cracking me up, and like
Yeah.
her character work, and just she's won me over in the past
Hmm.
like definitely year, but even in the last just couple months, like I've just fully like
Hmm.
been like, okay, I get it. I get it. And then yeah, watching this match, I wanted her to win. I was
Yeah.
genuinely disappointed when she didn't win at the end of this. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really want to see Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, but I at the same time feel like they would have worked some kind of like
Io Sky could have beat her.
hodgepodge with Io Sky.
Yeah.
I felt like we were heading down a path where it was going to be Liv Morgan was going to win the chamber. She was going to interfere, and we were going to end up with a triple threat. And I wanted to see that triple threat.
Hmm.
Like we're going to get no finish tomorrow night with
Right.
Io and Rhea, and Liv, and Io would get worked in and would have a triple threat with those three women, and I was here for that. So the fact that that didn't happen almost ruins tomorrow night
A little bit.
because I
Well,
don't feel like now Io really has a chance. Like I felt like they
because
would have done a triple threat with Liv Morgan, but not
yeah, we know that Bianca Belair is the
winner. Yeah, I guess we'll say
winner.
that.
Yeah,
We're not talking about this match in chronological order here.
and I'm not throwing shade at Bianca because I think she obviously has always been one of the best workers in ring for the women, and it is a good time for her to get back into the solo picture. I think she's spent a year plus now kind of being stuck in the not stuck because she's kind of thrived there, but she's
It,
been stuck in the tag team stuff.
it's been good for her to not be
Yes.
like constantly pushed. I feel like they would have struggled. So it's been a
Mhm.
good place for her, but it is time for her to get back.
And that's the thing about Bianca is she's great in ring. I don't love her promo stuff. She doesn't have a lot of range as like an actress, which you kind of need that a little bit.
That's
This is
true. Yeah, her
part of why,
shocked face needs some work.
yeah, which is part of why I love Liv because she's good at both now. Like
Yeah.
she's really good at like she has her moments where she's still kind of iffy on the mic, but she's just good at facial expressions and acting and
Her
being part.
joy as she was beating people up in that chamber last night just made me
Yeah,
smile. Like that big
yeah,
smile she would put on her face whenever she would get that upper hand and that
yeah,
shock she would get whenever shit didn't go her way. I was like, I I'm a fan, man. Which
yeah.
is wild. I usually would fast forward through Liv Morgan, and
Hmm.
now I'm just like she's must see.
No, it was a great match, and then you even mentioned the beginning, so you can't not talk about how this thing opened.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Once we got all the women in, and all of a sudden we hit the music, and Jade Cargill comes back,
Mhm.
which is always a treat to see Jade Cargill on my
Yeah.
TV. But then she comes back. We clearly have the storyline going where she got injured by a mystery, and we've been trying to figure out. The assumption was that it was Liv Morgan
Hmm.
and Raquel Rodriguez. And
Hmm.
then, of course, it was Liv and Naomi in the ring getting ready to start the chamber. Jade comes out, makes a beeline for Liv, and then curves and just attacks Naomi right in
Just
front of Bianca's pod,
right.
who doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
Hmm.
So she's freaking out in the pod with her shocked face that needs some work. And Jade
Yeah.
beat the shit out of Naomi to the point where she got pulled from the match, and we only had 5 women.
Yeah. Slam the cage door on her neck, which like put her out.
Yeah, that was nasty.
It's cool when you can start a pay-per-view or a PLE with it's just something shocking when it's just
Yeah.
like oh we're into this like you guys aren't even waiting. It was like the first 5 minutes of the damn thing is like we got craziness already
Yeah.
happening. Jade Cargill
That was the
turning.
And that was the best beatdown I've seen Jade Cargill since she's debuted. Like she beat the shit out of Naomi, and I was like, "That's right." Like it always feels like Jade Cargill's holding back to a degree,
Mhm.
and that
Mhm.
felt like she did not hold anything back, and it looked great.
Well, I think she's I don't know if it's been nervous ever since she made it on into WWE or she's been holding back or like she's still new at this,
Yeah,
like
only a
relatively
couple of
compared
years. Yeah,
compared to everybody else. So this whole time she's been injured. I'm pretty sure she's probably been in the lab working working on herself,
I hope
trying to
so.
get better. So it showed a little bit there. Like she showed like she's supposed to be the powerhouse,
Yeah,
the one who can just throw people around and just wreck people.
yeah.
She's bigger than everybody else. You know what I mean? She's supposed to be that. Um, and she's been a heel in AEW.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like it's natural to her to do that too. Is she even gonna be a heel though? Like there's more to this story, I think.
No, I think this is Naomi's heel turn, which Naomi's needed. So I think this is good for everybody involved.
Is it Naomi's heel turn or is it Bianca's heel turn?
Bianca, see, and this is where I was confused with Bianca. I really didn't think Bianca was going to win this chamber because I felt like she was going to be involved with this whole other story. So,
Hmm.
like, I was sitting there watching Bianca and Liv at the end, and I was like, Bianca can't win this because she has to go deal with Naomi and Jade. Like, that's going to be her. I figured a triple threat with the three of them at Mania or some kind of combination. Like, I felt like she needed to be involved in that and not Rhea. So now I was really confused that they decided to go with Bianca and Rhea
Well,
theoretically.
they got a month to figure out how they're gonna treat that. I think almost they could have almost made Bianca like a John Cena style tricked you. I'm a bad guy. I'm the one who attacked Jade. You know,
And maybe that's what we're gonna get to, but then that
yeah.
would lead to Bianca and Jade fighting, not like
It'll just give the crowd an opportunity for someone to boo. Like
yeah,
Rhea's a good guy. Bianca's
right.
a good guy. Like who are we siding with? The crowd's gonna side with someone over someone, and it's probably Rhea because she gets the most reaction of any woman.
She's
So it's like,
one of the biggest in the company.
yeah. So if we're gonna cheer Rhea over Bianca anyway, we might as well make Bianca a bad guy for this.
I'm here
So
for that. She played a heel in NXT back in the day and it was awesome. So
yeah, so that's what I kind of feel like we're going to. But yeah, in your mind, it's like it would have made more sense to have her involved with Naomi and Jade at Mania. But I don't know. They got something up their sleeve with that.
yeah, I'm here. I'm involved. Like I
Yeah,
said, I'm tempted to keep my Netflix subscription to keep watching Raw.
yeah.
Um, because I'm here, and this was a hell of a match. Yes, I wanted Liv to win, and I don't know where or why that was, but it just became that way. But
Hmm.
I thought these women just killed it. I think this was one of the best Elimination Chamber matches that they've done from the women.
Oh
Um,
yeah, even the people we didn't haven't talked about, Roxanne Perez and Alexa Bliss, like they all did their thing too. You know.
Roxanne Perez was impressive. I haven't seen a lot of her, a
Yeah,
couple matches here or there with her,
yeah. She
but
definitely deserves the push she's getting. She was in the Rumble. She's one of the six in the Elimination Chamber. This girl who just came up from
yeah,
NXT. So yeah,
should
she's.
have a match with Bailey come Mania.
Oh,
So
I'm
I
sure.
know
Yep.
Bailey has said she wants to be Roxanne's first WrestleMania opponent. So
Hmm.
I can imagine if they're going to work that in, they got two nights, so they should be able to put the two of them in a program
Sure.
and let them go. But Bailey, yeah, this was a good combination of like talent who can all go, and they all went, and it was great.
Well, last thing about this, do you think that whip of Bianca's hair on Liv was supposed to be that hard?
No,
That thing was crazy.
I
Like
it's like when you would whip a towel at somebody
yeah, and just
and
get
you would
that perfect
and
momentum.
just every once in a while you would do it perfectly and you were
Yeah.
just like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And you would feel bad about it because that's
Yeah.
not what you intended, but that's just what
Right.
happened. That's what happened.
Oh
Like
my God.
it wasn't supposed to be that perfect, but it was.
Yeah.
And
That
you
thing
just have
that
to.
thing that thing reverberated through the entire arena. That thing sounded
It
like a
was
damn leather strap.
Yeah.
Like,
It was louder than when Rock was beating Cody at the end
oh
with a
yeah.
leather strap,
Easily.
with a braid, and she had that cut like around her stomach. It went from like her belly button to her spine.
Yeah, I know that shit hurt.
No, that
I know
100%
that shit.
hurt, and I know that as soon as they got backstage, Bianca was like, "Oh shit, I'm so sorry,"
Right.
but it
Are
made
you okay?
yeah, it made a moment. Like
Yeah.
you just ride with it. It doesn't hurt as bad. She's done it
Yeah.
before, but I feel like that was like
Yeah.
the perfect storm of just
Yeah.
angle and velocity.
Yeah.
That was nasty.
Lives toughness, man. Lives
Yeah,
toughness.
I like I said, I got nothing but great things to say about this match. I can't even think about a moment that didn't deliver in this match. So it was a great opener, opening with Jade, opening with these women, Bianca winning. I'm not going to say her fighting Rhea or Io Sky is a bad match.
That's
And
yeah,
regardless, no matter what this scenario is, I'm more interested in this than anything on the than with Charlotte and Tiffany.
I agree.
They
Speaking of which,
speaking of which, the next match
yeah,
was, and I put here in the script. Don talks about the women's tag match because
for
I
30
didn't
seconds.
watch it.
No. Yeah, the fourth match, card of four matches. So one of them was Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus versus Nia and Candice LeRae. I don't know. This was the match where I kind of made my dinner.
Pizza Puffs.
um, yeah. Listen, I don't know. I think part of them did this match because Trish,
It was
Canada,
all,
home
yeah,
country. You wanted to get Tiffany on a card because she wasn't didn't have a Rumble match. It's like you kind of want to work her in a little bit. Uh, I don't know. It was just bleh. This little rivalry between Nia and Tiffany. Hopefully it's over, and now we could just focus on Charlotte Flair and Tiffany and just keep moving on to Mania. They
right.
kind of had Nia just hanging around. I don't know. The match was kind of blah. Tiffany is the most talented of the three, and the other three just kind of were there. Like Trish, God bless her, she still tries, but she was never a huge wrestling like uh someone who's going to put on a great match ever anyway. I think she learned to wrestle like through her time. Like this is back when the WWE brought in women to be valets first, back in the
Yeah,
early before Attitude Era is like a pretty woman, we bring her in, but Trish,
she was
to her,
she debuted being the manager for a tag team called TNA.
right, right.
Like
Back,
she was the manager that represented tits and ass. Like that
right.
was that was what
Class,
that whole gimmick was
yeah,
like, hey, look at her.
yeah.
We're TNA. Yeah, we're
Classic.
testing Albert. Sure, that's what it was.
Yeah. Classic Vince McMahon era treatment of women in
Treatment
wrestling.
of women. Yeah, yeah,
Um, but to her credit, man, she learned throughout the years, and she's, obviously one of the greats, and was the Divas champion and the women's champion a bunch of times. So like,
hmm
all flowers to Trish, but she's still just like, has her little move set or whatever. So this match wasn't super great. I didn't think it would be like,
hmm
especially when you have Trish trying to do stuff to Nia,
yeah.
who's this much bigger than everybody. It's like,
Well, Trish has only really been good. You put her in the ring with Becky Lynch,
mm-hmm.
solid. You put her in the
Yeah,
ring with Charlotte Flair, you're gonna get a good match. You put her in the ring with Jax,
yeah,
Candice LeRae, you're
yeah.
not gonna get. You're gonna get divas level stuff out of her.
And you kind of
Like,
did.
yeah, and then unless you have, and then, once again, I didn't watch it. I don't usually watch Nia Jax uh matches
Matches.
just in general. And then it was when I like Don mentioned earlier, I went to a concert. So when I got home, it was, I ate my Taco Bell at like 11:30 and put on the pay-per-view. So by the time I was falling asleep and I was just trying to get through. So, and
Yeah,
I started to fall asleep through the next match, which I
yeah,
didn't want to do. So,
yeah. No, it was whatever, man. It was
yeah,
like 15 minutes of a little showcase for Trish being in her home
yeah,
country, and
that's awesome.
Tiffany is an exciting person though. She's very athletic, so she has her backflips and her moonsaults, and she's
Yeah,
fun. But I don't know, it was fine. Not really.
the
Moving on.
expectation.
Right.
Expectation. But
Yeah.
then we got Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn in an unsanctioned match in Canada where they're both from.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this was a wild match. There was no rules. It was just a street fight. It was a type of match that you don't get a lot in WWE anymore. You get it every week on AEW, but you don't get it all the time in WWE, and it makes it feel kind of special. And these two always deliver when they fight each
Mm-hmm.
other. They're kind of like that best friend scenario where they're like, I'm going to do everything harder to you than I would to someone else because I love you, which doesn't make any sense, but that's just how this world works. Like, people that you trust more, you're just like, oh, I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. It's kind of like why all the scenes in Severance go hard with Christopher Walken and John Turturro, because if you hear them talk, they like love each other and know each other and have been in so many movies and they're
Yeah.
friends, so they have this chemistry.
Yeah. What they say at the end of that last episode, they've done like 7 projects together over their career.
Yeah, like I think not to go into a whole Severance thing, but like John Turturro when they were uh, casting the show, they were like, "Why don't we use Walken for this spot? I'll call him, like he'll do it."
Oh, did he really?
And he's great. And there, Ben Stiller was like, "Oh yeah, Walken, yeah, you want to call him or something like that." Like they just are
That's
like these,
amazing.
yeah, they're these. great friends, so you could tell they have this chemistry. It's the same way with Sami Zayn and
Yep.
Kevin Owens. I think they've just worked together so long. They even show it in like the promo cuts. Like these guys have been working together back in the Indies, and we're doing pool halls and whatever
Right.
and bowling alleys. So yeah, their chemistry and they do hit each other a little harder because they trust each other so much, I think. But all that aside, just like the match itself was brutal and fun and kind of a throwback to, like you said, an older era where we used to do stuff like this with Mick Foley and Terry Funk and uh, stuff that WWE doesn't do too often anymore, like breaking out multiple tables
Yeah.
and
Double table
chairs.
spot.
Double table spot was crazy. I thought Sami Zayn lost his life.
Yeah, that was wild. That was
But yeah,
wild. They stacked those two tables, and I'm like, what are we doing with stacked tables, guys? It's been a long
yeah.
time since I've seen stacked tables.
Stack tables, barbed wire wrapped chairs. Like, why is that chair under the ring? One of our buddies said that. Like, what is the purposeful use for a barbed wire chair that they have it under, just ready to
Yeah.
go under the ring?
Yeah.
But yeah, getting like suplexed into that thing, and your face dragged across it, and just crazy. It was a crazy match, man, and a lot of fun. Had a great ending too. So yeah, I was a big fan of that match. Like,
Yeah. As expected. I mean, I knew that they were going to kill it, and they did. And it went. They went around the arena. They did all kinds of craziness, hitting themselves with chairs and, like you said, barbed wire, and they just
yeah,
didn't have the flaming. And the only thing that they didn't have that I really thought they were going to have was blood.
there
And I think
wasn't
on
blood. Yeah,
any other show they would have given them the blood spot, but because they knew Cody was going to bleed at the end, they were like, we can't have
double
multiple.
bloods,
Yeah.
double bloods.
And I think that's the only, and I'm almost surprised that like Owens and Sami Zayn just didn't go into business for themselves and just
Like
let's just do a little
we're
slice here.
we're bleeding out here.
We're bleeding out. And since we're talking about blood, I need to bring this up really quick.
Yeah,
But wasn't it crazy how like Cody obviously plucked himself somewhere in there, but we didn't see it on camera?
right. Not
I
like
was like, when
AEW.
did he do that? How did he do that? He did it in the middle of the ring with the camera right there, and you had no idea. Where AEW just shows a dude stabbing himself in the head.
The camera's coming up to him, just
I'm
oh
not
my
an AEW hater, but it's just
we still point out the ridiculousness
it
of
was
it.
just a funny thing that happened in the same week. Like that happened
Right.
on Wednesday, and then on Sunday you have Cody in the middle of the ring in front of 38,000 people, and the camera doesn't show it.
Well, that's what happens when your company is a well-oiled machine versus a carnival show.
I know. We have any
uh,
wrestling fans listening? We just got AEW people are going to be
they
like,
hate us.
"Huh?"
That's fine.
Yeah.
They tried to have a damn collision last night versus Chamber, and like
Did they really? Well, yeah,
Tony
they
Khan,
always do. But
yeah, Tony Khan putting out stuff like, "Please, we love everyone who watches Collision." Like, shut up, Chamber's on, dude. We don't want to hear from you.
I'm DVR in Collision. I'll watch it later.
Right. Uh, but yeah,
That's
great.
not what we're here to talk about. But
No,
I thought that was wild. But no, I enjoyed this match thoroughly. And
and
yeah,
then
it was a nice throwback you don't see all the time, which is nice when you don't see it all the time.
the obviously the ending of it, which I kind of called early, pat myself on the back, but it was a little obvious. Randy Orton coming back. So not only do you have Jade Cargill coming back from injury, then a couple matches later, Randy Orton. Just a great moment, I think,
Yeah.
because he's kind of was involved with these two people. I think the excuse for him being out was, didn't he get a package pile driver too from
Whoa.
KO?
Well, the funniest thing was KO did a regular just pile driver, and it
Oh,
looked
okay.
horrible on TV. Like it looked like the pile drivers we used to do in backyard wrestling, where we just like roll on our backs, and the
Okay.
camera was like looking right there, showing that Randy Orton's head was like nowhere near the ground, and he
Mm,
was out for months. And then you had
yeah.
like Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn taking like package pile drivers that look brutal, and they're on TV the next week. So yeah,
All right. Yeah,
uh,
Randy needed a little time off, probably for something unrelated,
I'm sure.
a different injury, something nagging. But having him back is great.
No, he looked great. Kevin Owens did win this match.
Mhm.
And then Orton comes out when he's kind of on his way out, and
Well, Kevin was gonna like keep hurting Sammy. He
yeah, yeah,
pulled the mat to like expose the concrete, and that's finally when Randy decided to come out.
Is it weird that Randy didn't come out to just like help Sammy win?
Right?
Like
Like
there were
this is
no
an
rules. This was an
yeah.
unsanctioned match. Like what were you waiting for, man? If I
He
was
could have,
Sammy, I'd be kind of pissed.
and he might be. No, they definitely could have. He could have. I think he wanted KO to win. The company wanted KO to win. I think obviously the match at Mania is Randy versus KO.
Right.
Um, who knows if Sammy's involved in some capacity? I doubt it, but
Could do a triple threat just on that
you,
alone.
you could. But then why would Sammy and Randy want to fight each other? You know,
Because Sammy's mad that Orton waited until he got his ass beat to come out.
it's possible. You can go that route.
It's a stretch.
We're gonna have like four triple threat matches in
I know.
WrestleMania this year. Everyone's got to get in with somebody, but yeah, seeing him do the RKO is always fun. I don't care how many times I see an RKO; they're always fun.
Yeah.
You
Him
know,
RKOing all those security guards was awesome.
yeah, them just
No,
waiting their turn. I
yeah,
love when
my
guys.
turn, my turn, my turn. I'm gonna make
I,
this look the best.
I love when they wait their turn. Like,
Yeah. How good can I take it? I want to impress Randy.
right?
But no, this was solid old school hardcore. And then yeah, the return of Randy Orton in time for Mania is always a welcome thing. And yeah, him and KO at Mania should be a good time.
For sure.
And then we shifted over to the men's chamber. And once again, no surprise on this show. This was a hell of a lot of fun for a
Hmm.
match. We had what was it? Logan Paul, John Cena, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and Seth Rollins. Hey, I got them all.
You did get them all.
I did get them all. I was nervous
Yeah.
as my as I was starting that list. My brain was like, "You don't know them all, man.
Good luck.
Good luck with this. I'm out." And you
Yeah.
just hear the door running.
Yeah.
But yeah, nope. That was the six people in this match, and this. I mean, just that talent alone, even though Logan Paul was in there, works to be able to. I got nothing against Logan Paul, but
Logan Paul, man, he's exciting in the ring, um, to an extent. Like he does have his limitations, but the things he can do really well.
yeah,
And I'm starting to really like his promo. I always kind of did. Um, he's just kind of like a tailor-made heel, somebody you just want to boo really
right.
hard. You know what I mean? There's not substance to it yet. Like he can't go deep into like a storyline, I don't think, with anybody, but he makes himself really good to boo. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? People really just want to boo him. He's like Dominic Mysterio, but can wrestle better. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Dominic's good, don't get me wrong. But like
What's
put those two together. Let's make some magic with,
yeah.
I don't know.
No, yeah. What's always crazy to me is I feel like, and once again, this is probably just a cheap shot that I'm taking for no reason, but I always am impressed with his buckshot lariat, where he does
Hmm.
the flip over the top rope and clotheslines, and it always looks better than Hangman Page and AEW.
I was gonna say Hangman Page says he copied his entire moveset, pretty
Yeah,
much.
and I mean he did, but it looks better. And I think of Hangman Page every time he does it. So
Yeah.
kudos to him. Like, but I'm always surprised at how like flawless it looks every time versus Hangman
Sure.
doesn't always. But I'm Hangman's better than Logan Paul, so I'm gonna put that out there. But
Yeah.
no, this chamber match was hell of a lot of fun.
Hmm.
For whatever reason, I felt like I was psychic that I could continue in both the women's and the men of just knowing which cage was going to open. Like I knew the order. I was like, all right, here's Damian Priest, Damian Priest. All right, here's John Cena, John Cena. Like it just, I
Yeah.
don't know, for whatever reason, like when they were like doing the do at the top, I just stared at the cage and it's just what it was.
Well, it's just like which one makes sense. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Damien was the first one to come out because I think Seth and Drew started it.
yeah.
So then it was Damien, and then it was Logan
Logan,
Paul, and then
Cena.
second to last was Cena, and Punk was last.
That was the only one I didn't know. I was like, it could be Cena or it could be Punk. I could see him going either way with that.
Yeah. No, but it had this match did deliver. It had a lot of good spots. Everybody kind of did their thing.
Hmm.
Um, I was more, I don't know, the ramifications of this winner to me were more important than the Royal Rumble almost.
Yeah.
Just because these six guys, it was like, I gotta know who's fighting Cody, and just it's kind of that letdown of the Rumble being like,
Yeah.
Jey Uso,
These were yeah, because these were all the people that I was like, any of these people could win the Rumble.
right.
And then when none of them did, I'm like, all right, now here we are. Okay, forget about the Rumble. That's
Yeah.
what they did with the Rumble. Whatever. I'll take a bathroom break for that. But
We're on to the chamber, and one of these six men is going to be in my WrestleMania. Which one? It could be any of them. Well,
yeah,
not Logan Paul or Damian Priest, but the other four,
or
any
Drew
of them.
McIntyre, or
Well, Drew or Seth, I could have bought
I could have too.
a path to them doing it. So really, Seth, Drew, Cena, or Punk, any of them, I think could have won
But it
realistically.
really ultimately it was between Cena and Punk, and they knew
Yeah,
it, and that's why they went down to the final two with the two of them, and that's why Punk kicked out of everyone's finisher because they really
right.
wanted to make you feel like Punk was going to win this
Hmm.
because that was who they expected everyone to think was going to win.
At what point does Seth Rollins become just a heel? Like,
I
because
feel like
he's now curb stomped Roman Reigns. The crowd cheers Roman more than Seth a little bit, I feel like. So he cost Roman or he hurt Roman at Royal Rumble, and now he
that
also
was the
cost.
nastiest stomp I've ever. That was like a two-footed.
Oh
Like
yeah,
they must be best friends
right,
because he stomped on that dude like he loved
right,
him.
like yeah, a double foot
That
stomp is
was
intense.
nasty. Like
Yeah,
that was so. That was I dream about that one at night.
yeah, that was a good one. But he also now is the reason why Punk didn't win this match, like the curb stomp before the STFU.
Yeah,
Um, which kind of leads us to believe they're going to follow through on this Mania triple threat Roman
yeah.
Seth Punk. I think you kind of have to.
I'm
Um,
I'm cool with that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yes, the but Rollins really would be he's the only one that they could really make be the heel in that. So to lean in.
yeah. I think all three of them are kind of like these anti-face. Like, you know what I mean? They're
Well,
faces with attitude. So maybe they won't touch any of them. Maybe it's just like the best man's going to win, and
yeah,
we're all going to
because
talk shit about each other.
Roman was a bad guy for 4 years.
Hmm.
Yeah, he lost last year at Mania. He hasn't changed.
Right? He's the
He didn't
same dude.
apologize to anybody. He
No.
didn't show any remorse for anything he did. He comes out and
Right?
he says the same shit he did, but people are just cheering for him. Just I don't know why.
Because they missed him.
They just missed him. He was gone for a couple months, but
Yeah.
he was always gone for a few months. Like it never makes sense. It's like almost like,
Right.
oh, you lost.
Yeah.
We love you.
He's the heel you liked to cheer for.
Yeah.
And now he's not doing the cheating anymore. He's not cheating. He doesn't have
Yeah.
the bloodline cheating on him. So that's when you really booed Roman,
Yeah.
was when he was cheating to win. But if he's not doing that anymore, it's like, we kind of like this guy.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's the only thing they changed is he doesn't have
Yeah.
the bloodline to help him win.
Yeah.
Outside of that, he still is an asshole, and he still hasn't
Right.
said anything. That whole like lead up to the Survivor Series, he didn't apologize to anybody. Sami Zayn was like,
No.
apologize to Jay, and he's like, yeah, fuck you, Sami Zayn.
Right. He said no yeet.
No
No
yeet. I'm
yeet.
not apologizing to Jey Uso, and you're just like, what
Yeah.
are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
He's doing nothing. He made up. None of those people should have wanted to be in that match with him. None
Yeah.
of them.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I would say Roman Reigns is still the heel, but he'll still get cheered more than Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins. If you can give me a character change on that dude, I would love it because I like Seth Rollins. But this whoa, 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 I'm the revolutionary.
Right.
Like
It's run
it
its
kills me.
course. It's run its
It
course.
kills me.
Yeah.
It kills me.
I love Seth Rollins too. I
Whenever
think
he's serious, he is so good. And why they let him be goofy?
yeah,
What
goofy
I
with
want to know, and this is a weird sidebar because I've been drinking this IPA, but where's
the
Becky Lynch?
Mm.
Wasn't she in like the advertisements for the Raw Netflix debut? And she was like in the commercial in the ring. Is she going to be at Mania this year?
Doesn't look like
It
it.
doesn't seem like it, right? Is they saving her for a night after WrestleMania at this point?
Well, probably. Whenever Punk and Seth get real with each other, which they do a lot, I feel like a lot of their interactions in the ring are very off the cuff. Like they tell them just go out there and say the real shit to each
Yeah,
other because Punk does that with everybody.
yeah,
Like I don't think Punk ever has any script. Sometimes he kind of fumbles on his own words because I think he's just making it up in his head as he goes along.
it totally is.
Right. But like there was a segment between the two of them a few weeks ago or like a month ago where Punk even said that to him. He was like, "Where's the man? Haven't seen her in a while." And the crowd was like, "Ooh."
Hmm.
And Seth, just like off the top of his head, he was like, "She's at home raising a kid, something you wouldn't know anything about." And people were like, "Oh shit." And so that's probably what she's doing, raising
Yeah,
her
probably.
child.
Did you hear, as you're talking about keeping it real, did you hear Drew McIntyre what he said his comeback was for when Punk when him and last year for Mania, so we're going back a year, when him and Punk had when they had that crazy like three-way promo battle with Seth and Drew and Punk and Drew
Mhm.
were yelling at each other about shit. Maybe it was earlier this year, but when they were having that promo and Punk said something to Drew about who called you the chosen one? Say his name, and they were trying to do a Vince call out, but
Yeah.
but Drew was like, and Drew was sitting there, and he just did an interview the other day where he said, "Yeah, I had a comeback for that, but I'm a professional." But his comeback was gonna be like, "Yeah, it was the same dude who fired you on your wedding day," and I was like, God, I wish he would have said that.
All right.
That place would have exploded if he would have said that. And I know 100% that he thought of that after the fact because if that was in his head at the moment, he would have
Yeah.
said it.
Yeah. And Punk
I
would have
don't,
been like,
yeah, that place would have just disappeared. It would have
yeah.
just disappeared off the face of the earth. It would have just been like, oh my God, it would have been like Thanos snapped that whole arena.
Right.
It would have just been
Yeah.
like poof. It would have just been this cloud.
Yeah. Like the leeway they give those couple guys,
Yeah.
Drew, Punk, Seth, is cool. I'm glad they get to do it. Sometimes they fumble it because it's not planned, you can tell. But
That's how it always
sometimes,
was.
yeah, they do give them a lot of leeway. And when they do nail something, it's like, oh,
I feel
that's
like
good.
they do it a lot more since Vince left, which is good.
Yes.
I feel
Yeah.
like, and then you throw Rock, you throw Cena. None of those people are scripted.
Right.
So then you let some of your people that you trust, like Punk, obviously doesn't need to be scripted. Rollins really doesn't. Drew definitely doesn't.
Right. Oh,
I mean,
Drew,
you can throw
Drew
Roman
made
doesn't need to
himself.
anymore.
Yeah, Drew took himself to that level now where he's one of the best workers on the microphone
Yeah,
of anybody.
he's one of the best that they have.
Which is why I feel bad that they're about to put him in a program with with
I was
fucking
gonna
Damian
ask that about the
Priest.
Elimination Chamber. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so if we're coming out of this Elimination Chamber, clearly we know where Cena's going.
Mhm.
Punk, Seth Rollins stomped on CM Punk and basically screwed him out of winning this match. So
Mhm.
clearly, Punk and Rollins are going to do whatever they're going to do at Mania, whether it's with Roman or not. Clearly, they're linked because Seth found like orgasmic joy sitting outside the ring of just like
Yeah.
Punk lost, sweet. He had a big grin on his face. Logan Paul, I have no idea what Logan Paul's doing at Mania.
No, really can't call it right now.
Can't call that. Clearly, we're doing Priest and McIntyre, which once again, I don't want to be like, I don't want to, because I don't have anything wrong with Damian Priest. He was the heavyweight champ last year at Mania. He's had a solid year. He's grown. Like I enjoy Damian Priest, but for some reason this doesn't feel good enough for Drew.
Hmm.
Like I don't know. It just still feels like just a kind of a whatever. I really kind of wanted Drew and Roman. I really
Sure.
wanted the two of them. Like Drew seemed like he's on this quest of ridding the bloodline from the WWE, and you got to fight Roman for that.
Yeah, that would have been. I think they'll get to that, but I just think there's not enough time to do it. Just because of the way you
Oh,
ended, the way you ended Roman's last appearance.
yeah,
Like if it would have went down differently than that, then maybe you could have done a program with Drew, and that would have been fun and worthy. That would have felt like a worthy WrestleMania match.
yeah,
Face Roman versus heel Drew.
yeah.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying about Drew, Damian Priest. There's nothing he's done to make me not like him. I just don't like him. Like I don't. He doesn't interest me enough.
Right.
He's good in the ring. I think he's a fine wrestler, but his character doesn't interest me. I know he's not even in the Judgment Day anymore, but he feels Judgment Day-y still, just like this gothic
Yeah.
nothing dude who just like is from the streets. Like nothing about him excites me. So I'm sure it'll be fun. It'll be someplace in the middle of the card on Saturday or Sunday. But it's like I wished better for Drew because I've liked seeing his rise. And I know last year he main evented WrestleMania, so he's been there. He's been to the very top, so I shouldn't feel too bad for him. But it's just like, poor Drew. I know you wanted to do something more than just fight Damian Priest at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
I
out of
know.
all of the like lineups and all of the combinations that people are trying to figure out, that one seems to be where we're headed, and that one just seems the most wah
Blah.
wah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and yeah, Logan Paul, I have no idea, but I don't know. They'll figure something out.
They'll figure out. Yeah, have him fight Penta or something. I don't know. Like, you know what
Maybe
I mean? Uh,
that would be actually pretty good. I'd be
right.
okay. I wouldn't be mad at Logan Paul and Penta, but that could be fun. But once again, I always put Logan Paul in matches that he's gonna lose, and I just feel like at some point that dude's got to win something.
I mean, he had his U.S. title reign, but ever since then, he's dropping a lot.
Yeah, he just because he's such a bad guy, you just want to see him get beat. So it's just so easy to just be
Right.
like, all right, go in there and go lose to Ray,
Right.
go lose to this person, go lose to Ricochet. I think he beat
Yeah,
Ricochet,
he might have. They'll find something for him to do, but
but
overall, yeah, chamber match was fun.
Road to WrestleMania, and then yeah, we already talked about the Rex Rock segment, which is how they ended the show, and we talked about it at the beginning of our show. So I don't think we really need to go too much deeper into that. I think we touched on all of the.
Yeah, the only one last thing I'll say about that is I know there's people out there who like to criticize Dwayne coming in and kind of throwing his weight around. It seems like at times, even though we know it's a collaborative thing, he goes to Triple H and they go over things and make decisions together. And he's not the only one saying this is what's going to happen. It seems that way to people because he likes to throw out there that he's the boss. But I don't know, man. He kind of helped save the interest level in this year's Mania. Same thing that he did last year. So for all the shit you want to talk about, like he's just coming in and he wants it to be all about him, and he made himself the last segment. The last segment is being talked about across the world. So say what you want about him doing whatever. The dude is smart and has good ideas about what people are going to be talking about. So I got nothing really bad to say. And he's doing it this year, and he doesn't even have to step foot in a ring and fight anybody. You know what I mean? Last year we were like, can he still hang? He's an old man, and he held his own to an extent. Obviously,
He
last
didn't get
year,
injured, so
right? He didn't pull any muscles or blow his ACL or anything. Like he still kind of held his own and can do moves and take moves. But this year, it's now got the same it has the same excitement level that last year had after last
yeah.
night with the whole Cena thing, and the dude doesn't even have to step into the ring. Like he's a genius.
But now, yeah, 100% agree with
Yeah,
everything that you just said.
yeah.
Now but you still assume that he's going to be involved in this match
Sure.
at
I'm sure.
Mania to some degree.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Do you think we finally get that Stone Cold cameo that we really should have got last year that they gave to the Undertaker because Stone Cold just apparently had knee surgery and couldn't really make it, and Nevada is Stone Cold's backyard. So, do you think we get that Stone Cold cameo where he takes out The Rock this year that we didn't get last year, and it still works from a storyline perspective?
I mean, it would be amazing. And I just before we even got on here, there's a video going around of him on a podcast, Steve Austin, talking about WrestleMania 41. Like, oh, they're like, oh, it's in Nevada this year. That's like 3 miles down the road from where you live. And he was like, yeah, yeah, I know. I'd be a part of it. He's like, if Cody needs a hand this year, just let me know.
Oh
Like
God! So yeah, maybe that's already happening.
all right. But this was like recorded a long time ago before this stuff came out. Uh, but I mean,
They might have already known.
you can't not have a one more Steve Austin The Rock moment.
I know that was the
It's argu
biggest. That
it's
was the biggest
arguably
thing
the
they
it's
missed out on.
arguably yeah, it's arguably the best rivalry in wrestling of all time.
Right.
Arguably, like
On multiple fronts because not only were they great in the ring, but you know that they hated each other because they both
right.
wanted to be number one.
Hmm.
And at different times they probably were, but like
Yes.
they
Yeah.
were, that there was a professional rivalry in there that we don't even know about that was still
Yeah.
there. So, but I mean, we know about what was in the ring between the two of them, and yeah, to see the two of them one more time face to face would be.
Mind
I'd
blowing.
I'd love to see The Rock try to sell a stunner one more time.
Right. Uh, well, he sold a choke slam, so kind of
It
got
it
his
worked.
big body off the
I
ground.
know he's so big.
All right.
He's got that Hollywood body.
Yeah.
He's huge.
Yeah. He is.
Which is funny because I was looking at John Cena, who still looks shredded, standing next to CM Punk, who looks great. And honestly, I think CM Punk looks like the best he's probably ever looked right now.
Sure.
but still just like he's just standing next to like superhero Cena.
Right.
It just always looks funny. But Elimination Chamber 2025 was a good show, man.
It
I had a
was.
lot of fun watching it, and then they gave us moments that we're going to talk about forever.
Mm-hmm.
Moments that
Yeah,
we
it's
never thought
gonna.
we'd get. You know, people might have tried to say that they were predicting this John Cena heel turn. Maybe Cena will go corporate, and you're like, yeah, okay, you say it, but that's not
Mhm.
going to happen, and it did.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Really, just I'm glad it kind of got us back on. Like you opened the show saying, "Is are we back on the road to WrestleMania?" And we are. I
Yeah.
feel like now a little bit. I have more hope for my excitement, for my own personal excitement for WrestleMania now than I did before
Mhm.
before Elimination Chamber. So it accomplished that.
And to really cement what you're saying right now, I really haven't watched a lot of wrestling like Raws or SmackDown since Royal Rumble.
Hmm.
So I was all ready to let my Netflix subscription lapse. And now I'm like, all right, I think I need to renew it because I want to watch Raw tomorrow. I
Hmm.
want to watch SmackDown on Friday. Like whenever they're going to talk about this Cena thing, I want to watch that. So I'm intrigued. I was kind of falling out. I'm back. They pull me back.
I'm
I
back,
always wanted to use
baby.
that Netflix subscription. I just want to
Yeah.
quit it.
Yeah.
I can't. It makes me mad.
Maybe after April.
Maybe after April. Maybe I can finally quit Netflix after April. I just get that ads version just to watch Raw, which has ads anyway. I don't watch anything else on Netflix, so
There you go.
I guess I can do $8 a month for the road to WrestleMania.
You're not watching the Tomb Raider anime?
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it is. I haven't watched it.
I was about to say, is it worth watching?
I don't know.
Tell me something worth Netflix watching. What's on
Yeah.
Netflix that you're watching? Hit us up.
Let
Raise the
us know.
Geek, social media. What do you think of the Royal Rumble? Raise the Geek. Every social media platform, we are there, ready to talk to you. Raise the Geek. Or you can hit us up on YouTube. Make sure you like and
Mm.
subscribe over there where you can see our lovely faces doing whatever we're doing at whatever moment, waving. And shoot us an email if you want to go old school with it and you have a long form question that you want to let us know. What do you think about the Royal Rumble? What do you think about the Oscars? What do you think about
Elimination
Netflix?
Chamber.
The Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania, whatever you want to talk about. You want to talk about Severance? We can talk about Severance. You want to talk about The Gorge? We might not talk about it. This is your chance to do that. We're going to probably be back next week with Daredevil because Daredevil Born Again comes out on Tuesday.
Two
And that's going
days.
to be a couple days, yeah, 2 days from now. That's going to
Hmm.
be insane. I'm ready for that all over, and I'll be ready to talk about that. So we'll see. Maybe we'll be back with Netflix or with Daredevil next week. But
Hmm.
hit us up, raisethegeek at gmail.com, raise the geek across social media. But I think, unless Don, you got any interruptions, that's going to do it for us this week. So for Raise the Geek, I'm Chris.
And I'm done.
And thanks for checking out the show.
Where geek is all we speak.